Little ASMR to start the day off.
ASMR.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome.
The Feral Moms podcast. Darian's here again.
Hello.
So, how was your day?
It's been good. My morning, Zamora slept through my alarms, which I thought was really weird. She came into my room at like 6:30, and then my alarm was going off to get up. She was sleeping through it, which is very unlike her. I was like, okay, tired girl. Better sleep before gymnastics.
Gotta save that energy.
Yes.
So my morning, Symphony,
Mm-hmm.
she is the worst to get ready in the morning. I don't know about Z, but
Oh, yeah.
Symphony is just like, I told her for like 30 minutes, I'm like, you need to get dressed. And she's like, well, I'm hungry. I'm like, okay, well, get dressed while I'm making your food.
Mm-hmm.
And so she goes in her room and she's just like dicking around. And she comes out of her room and I'm like, why don't you have pants on? Like, you're not all the way dressed. And she's like, oh yeah, I forgot. And I'm like, girl.
It's not pajama day at school.
And so she goes back and then she comes back out. She starts arguing with Wolfgang. And at this point, it's like 8:15. We have to leave at 8:30. And she's just arguing with Wolfgang. She still does not have pants on. And I'm like, before you, like, start arguing with your brother, make sure that you're ready for the day. Like,
You're fully dressed.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, I've asked you, like, 5 times to put pants on, and you still have not put pants on.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not ready by the time we need to leave, you're just going to go to school the way you are.
Yeah, Zamora's always pretty difficult to get ready. Yesterday, I was getting ready for work and I brought her clothes out. She's fully capable of like getting herself dressed.
Yeah.
In fact, she like prefers that she does it herself because she's a big girl.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you need to get dressed. And then her dad texted me saying that he was there to pick her up. And I was like, Zamora, and she's like, oh, my dad's here. I was like, are you dressed? She's like, no. I was like, oh, of course not. Oh, of course not. But yeah, I don't know. I find myself like, it doesn't matter how much time I have, I'm always in a hurry. And I really,
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking in the car, I was like, I really want to try to work on that because I feel like it's not good for like myself nor my child to always be like,
Yeah.
let's go, let's run to the car.
Yeah,
Like, hurry up.
That's exactly how we are, too.
Yeah, and like, I feel like, I don't know if I could just like take a step back and give myself like 15 more minutes.
Yeah.
But I always end up late. Like,
Well,
or
that's like
right on time.
That's like the whole thing too, is like we'll like have all this time. Like today everybody got up early. So we have all this time, but somehow we're still running late.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mom life.
I'm perpetually late. You know this.
Hey, you're getting better.
Sometimes.
It happens.
I was early here today and then I forgot the laptop.
I was also 2 minutes early.
And now we're late, but it's fine.
It's A-okay.
So, we were out over the weekend at Ned Kelly's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And those dudes that were there, they pissed me right the fuck off. Like, we weren't even in their conversation and just, like, pissed me off.
Yeah.
Like,
the presents.
Yeah, like, I can't stand it when dudes are, like, talking, like, oh, look at all these fine females in here. Like, don't call me a female. Like, don't refer to anybody as a female. That's, like, almost, like, objectifying.
Yeah.
Is that the word? Like, I don't know. You're making it sound like I'm a dog.
Right?
Like, I wouldn't, like, that's the only time, like, using female as a noun versus an adjective
Yeah.
is, like, different.
Yeah, no, I do understand that because I feel like us as women, we're not like, oh, look at these males. Wow, that's a nice looking male. Like, I'm sorry. We are animals, but like at the same time, how about we just be like, oh wow, there's a lot of, fine ladies. Call us ladies. Call us
Literally
ladies.
anything. Literally
Females.
anything.
Ugh.
It just like rubs me the wrong way.
Gives me
Like
the
makes
ick.
me it makes my skin crawl.
The
like,
icks?
the ick.
God.
Ooh, the ick.
We'll have to have like a whole episode just talking about icks and
The
red
ick.
flags because I feel like we could come up with a fucking list.
We We totally could.
Like piggybacking off of that though, I was thinking about that situation, and can we just talk for a moment? Why do men not have like easier access to birth control? Because not to be controversial, but what the fuck? I feel like it's always on women.
Yeah, we have all these things that we have to put in our bodies, and like whatever, like pill, the thing that goes in your arm, the ring, the IUD, like, and those are all full of hormones and shit.
So like as a planet, we can send people to the moon, but we can't make male birth control easily accessible.
Well, I mean, those astronauts are stuck up in space right now, so like, are we really doing okay?
I really do want to know like more about like the science. I'm sure if I looked it up, I could find things, because I know that like there is a form of male birth control. I just don't know exactly like what it is, and I do know that it's not like as easily accessible as like a girl just like going to, I mean, you can go anywhere. You can go to Planned Parenthood. You can go to your like doctor's office. Yeah. They'll give you birth control if you ask for it. But like, why is it not the same for men?
That is weird.
And why is it always on women? We have to get our periods. We have to carry a baby for 10 months. We have to give birth to the baby, feed the baby if we choose to do that.
The birth part though, that's rough.
Yeah, that was another thing I was thinking of, is that sometime we should share like birth stories. It might be a little TMI for some people, so maybe a certain audience wouldn't want to listen to that episode. But
Wolfgang was like super easy. Symphony was super easy too, but her story is a little like crazy, because I'm just like the way that I went to the hospital is just like we gotta talk about it sometime.
What was I gonna say? Oh, about birth control, horror birth control stories.
Oh yeah, you got a good one.
Okay, so first, to like start off, I feel like my body has always been like anti-birth control, if that makes sense. I don't know if it is my genes or what it is, but so like ever since I've been young, my mom always warned me like, oh, you're a fertile turtle, like great grandma had 13 children, you better always be careful. And so when I was like 16, I got on birth control, and it wasn't because I was like sexually active. It was simply for the fact of my periods were giving me such bad cramps that I was like throwing up and passing out. And so I originally went on the pill, but like my body, I don't know what it is. I would love to know like more like medical reasons as to why my body is the way it is, because if I did not take that pill to like the 10-minute mark, I would start bleeding. And I was like, that's not even right.
Weird.
Right? Like that shouldn't be right.
Yeah.
And so then I had Z, and then I got off of birth control. I went back on the pill. I was breastfeeding her though still, so I had like a certain, I don't know the exact hormones in it. Maybe like estrogen or progesterone. It was like one of them was like higher than the other. That way it was still not allowing me to get pregnant, but still being able to produce milk. That completely fucked me up. I've shown you pictures of like my acne, I think.
No.
I'll have to show you them because it was terrible. I've never had like acne like that ever in my life. It was like cystic acne, like terrible. It was god awful. I don't wish that upon anyone.
That shit hurts too.
Even though, like, did you breastfeed your kids?
I did not.
Okay, so like usually when you breastfeed, you don't get your period because of the way that like your body is wired.
Okay.
I got mine right away. My body was like, let's go. So yeah, I don't understand like why my body is the way it is. But so going back to my story, this was probably like 6 months ago, and I was like, okay, I want to go back on birth control just to be safe. And I opted for the non-hormonal IUD, which is the copper one.
Yeah.
Going into it, like I have quite a few friends that have an IUD, and they're like, oh yeah, like their experience was.
Yeah, I have one of those.
It was easy. Like I have never really heard of like anyone having a horror story about it. So come time to the appointment, I show up, and you know the doctor's explaining everything. And then they go about the procedure. I will say hands down, I would rather give birth then ever go through that again.
Really?
Yes, it was that bad. Like, I feel like I have a pretty high pain tolerance. Obviously, like, that's a different kind of pain.
Yeah.
Though. Like,
yeah, childbirth is
literally
definitely
in
like
you.
childbirth is definitely like something
a different
else.
type
Yeah.
of experience.
Yeah.
So there's like my doctor and then a nurse and then like a CNA nurse who is getting like, I want to say like hours for
Yeah.
not like internship, but you know what I mean. And so they were all like the sweetest ladies ever. And they go about putting in this IUD, which it was so painful. I did not understand like what they were doing. They're like bringing up. Yes, girl, they literally take a clamp and they clamp your cervix. Like, that is pain that I did not know that like was possible.
Mine wasn't that painful.
I don't know. And they even gave me like like Advil and then, or it was like the stronger, it wasn't Advil, it's like the prescription like Advil that they have at like doctors.
600 milligram ones or whatever.
Yeah, and so they gave me that and like I thought like for sure like, oh, like this will be okay, like just
it's
make
supposed
sure
to
you don't
feel
like
a pinch.
No, it was god awful. Maybe I just am more sensitive. I don't know.
Your uterus is like, don't fuck with me.
Yeah, she was like, back the fuck off.
We having these babies.
So yeah, they put in the IUD and then they're like, okay, you're gonna experience some cramping similar to like your period, just like take it easy throughout the day. And then they leave the room and they're like, okay, you're free to get dressed and head out whenever you want. And I was like, okay. At this point, I'm still laying on the table. So I was laying there for a few minutes, kind of like just gathering my thoughts and like just breathing. And then I sit up to go and get dressed. And when I did that, I shit you not, like I've passed out before, but like it was different. All of a sudden, like everything started like spinning and my ears started ringing really, really loud, like really loud. And I was looking at the garbage can and all of a sudden everything went black. And I was like, oh shit. And the only thing I could like tell my body to do was like use my hands to find the back of the bed because I was like, you're gonna fall off the fucking bed and you're by yourself. Pantsless, mind you. Like, how embarrassing. And so like I managed to like lay down and then everything goes black. Ears are ringing. And the next thing you know, I like come to it. I'm like opening my eyes and the nurse walks in and she like pulls the curtain and she's like, are you okay, honey? And I was like, I don't feel good. And I don't know how long I was out for.
Right.
But for her to come back in to check on me is a little bit concerning because I feel like they wouldn't check in after like 2 minutes. Like, right. I feel like it had to have been
a while.
A decent amount of time for them to be like, what's going on in there?
Yeah, why didn't she come out yet?
And so then she came in there and obviously, like, I couldn't see myself, but she said that I looked like a ghost. And the only thing, like, she looked at me and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't feel good. And she, like, popped her head out and she's like, doctor, nurses, we need some help in here. And I was like, oh, fuck.
That's not what you want to hear.
No. I was like, what's going on with me? And so all of the, like, the doctor and the 2 nurses come back in and they were like, okay, you just need to lay down. And, like, I felt like I was going to throw up. And so every time I would go to sit up to throw up, I would start passing out again. Like, it would be the same, like, ear ringing, spinning, everything going black. And so they have, like, my feet propped up on pillows, and they're, like, feeding me orange juice and crackers. And they're like, you have to keep drinking fluids, like, your blood sugar's running low. And they were taking my blood pressure. And that was the scary thing, was every time that I would sit up, my blood pressure would, like, drop. Like, the doctor said, she's like, I don't know how you weren't on the floor, Darian. Like, it's honestly crazy. I don't remember exactly what my blood pressure was, but I know they said it was half of what it's supposed to be when they came in that room. And then my pulse would, like, go up. So it was, like, my blood pressure dropping, my pulse going up, and me feeling like I was going to throw up and faint at the same time. Like, what a crazy combo.
So did they take it out?
So this went on for, like, 30 or 40 minutes, I want to say.
What?
Yeah, that they were like, okay, like, hopefully your body's just, like, getting used to it. Like, how are you supposed to get used to it? And then, mind you, while this is all going on, I feel like I'm having, like, full-on contractions. Like, I'm about to give birth. my uterus was like, get this thing the fuck out of me now. And so the doctor, she's like, we can take it out if you want. And I was like, no, it's fine. Like,
No, you said no?
I'm the type of person, though, that, like, they're doctors. Like, their jobs are to, like, save lives. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm just being a pussy right now. Like, get it together, Darian. Like,
I'm laying on the floor pantsless. I'm being a pussy. Like, what?
Okay, but, like, I felt so bad that, like, I scheduled this appointment. Like, I did this to myself. They're just doing their jobs. And, like, I don't know. I hate to, like, inconvenience people. So, finally, though, I was, like, crying, like, ready to die at this point. And I was like, okay, just take it out. And they ended up taking it out. Well, then my blood pressure was still doing the same thing. And so they're like, you're not allowed to drive. Like, you need to go home and be under, like, supervision all day. Like, it wasn't enough to, like, admit me.
Yeah.
At this point, like, it was slowly going back up. So they're like, okay, like, you're gonna be fine. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Like,
That's
but
so
then
scary.
they made Taylor come and pick me up. And then they wheeled me out in a wheelchair. I was like, I've never been in a wheelchair. Like, not even when I gave birth did they wheeled me to the fucking car in a wheelchair.
For an IUD?
Yeah,
That's
and I was
crazy.
like, never again. So after that, my boyfriend and I had a conversation. He's like, yep, like, I would rather go about birth control in other forms than have that happen to you.
That's wild, dude.
It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was a little traumatized about it.
Yeah,
I still kind of am. Like,
I
it
don't
was
blame
scary.
you.
I feel like that's the only time where, like, I don't know, you know, when you get, like, gut feelings, or, like, if you're almost in, like, a car accident, like, your heart, like, skips a beat and you're like, holy fuck. Like, that was the only time that I can count that I was literally thinking, like, am I gonna die right now? Like, I don't know what's happening. And then I'm, of course, worried about Zamora. Like, shit, I don't even have a will written up or anything. Like, yeah, it was not a fun experience, but I don't know. I really want to know if, like, anyone else has had experiences like that.
See, mine wasn't like that. Like, I got mine, felt like a pinch. I went home. Mm-hmm. But, like, the after effects of it, like, I was just a emotional wreck for, like, a good, like, 2 months at least.
Oh my gosh.
And it was, like, really bad. Like, I was crying all the time. I was, like, having suicidal thoughts. Like, it was, like, insane. And I remember at one point I was like, I need to get this fucking thing out of me.
Yeah.
And so I scheduled an appointment, and then like 2 or 3 days after I scheduled the appointment, I don't know what exactly happened, but, like, all of a sudden it got better.
Your body chilled out a little bit?
Yeah, so then I kept it.
Do you have the copper one or the hormonal one?
I have the Mirena, so whichever one that is. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I feel like that is the hormonal one.
I think you're right. Let's see.
I don't know. I'm just very, like, skeptical about just putting hormones in my body based off of, like, how my body has reacted. Also, another thing, like, I wanted to get the copper one because I was like, okay, maybe, like, I'll have less acne and like stuff like that. But also, like, weight gain, like, that's a scary thing for, like, us as women to put our bodies through just to not get pregnant. I mean, there's other ways to go about it too, but, like, I don't know. It's scary, and I wanted to make sure, like,
well, and even then, it's, like, not foolproof either.
Yeah.
Like, you can still get pregnant on the Mirena and the IUD. And
well, you got pregnant on birth control.
Yeah. Twice.
Were you taking antibiotics?
No.
That's how my mom got pregnant with me.
I was one of those people who, like, didn't take it at the exact same time every day. So, like, I know you're supposed to take it at, like, but sometimes I slept in, or, like, you know what I mean? So, but, yeah, twice.
Both times?
Yeah, twice.
See, and that's crazy because I know it's supposed to build up in your system.
Yeah.
So, like, even you taking it, as long as you're taking it daily and not, like, skipping multiple pills.
Yeah.
Girl, you're a fertile turtle, too.
Dude, I really am.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Good thing she's on the IUD.
I don't want no more babies.
Yeah, no. I want some more babies in the future, but not yet. Not yet.
I miss my kids when they were little, though. Like, they were so cute.
I know, Samora was So cute.
Like, they were just so cute, and they said the cutest things, and they just looked cute. Like,
Now they're talking back. And...
yeah. And now Wolfgang's over here going, Sigma, Skibbity Riz, Toilet, Ohio. And I'm like, great.
Interesting.
I have this cutest little video of him. It's my favorite video of him, where he's, I don't know, probably like 2 or 3, and he comes running up, and I'll have to show it to you. He comes running up, and he's like, got like a cheese stick in the wrapper, and he's like, knack, chi-knack. And it's so cute, and he's just like all excited to get it open and whatever. Chi-knack.
Yeah, I have cute videos of Zamora too when she's little, and like this one we're in the car and she's like, oh wow, Juju, and she has an Olaf, one of those little like, what are they, like good to grow juices with like the characters on top, and she's called Juju. So she's like, oh wow, Juju, like you sound like a caveman. But like the things she used to say, it was like last weekend I was at home and I was just like scrolling through my old photos and just like the cute little things. She used to call chicken bok bok. And then Bluey, she would call it Booly. Booly. She's still one of them that I can think of, LOL dolls. She calls them LLO dolls. And I'm like, girl, got the letters mixed up.
Wolfgang used to call bananas manas.
Aww.
And tacos atos. What else did they used to say? I don't know. They were so cute though.
Now they just have a full vocabulary. And
like Symphony didn't really mess up words that much. She's pretty good in like with vocabulary and whatever, and she still is. That girl never stops talking.
Neither does Zamora. I feel like there's been multiple times where we're like out at like a grocery store or something like that, and somebody will be like, "Oh my gosh, like how old is she?" Because she's pretty small.
She is very tiny.
But you would never guess that she's like 4 years old based on like the way she talks. It's just like full sentences, and her memory is scary,
dude. Yes. Like, Symphony remembers things from when she was, like, 2 years old. And I'm like, I can't even remember yesterday, man. Like,
how do you do it?
Like, give me some of that.
Yesterday, we went to drop off something over at my cousin's house. And I was like, oh, we have to go to Matt and Aaron's quick. And I do feel like some of the memories that Zamora remembers could also be influenced by like pictures, because I always show her pictures and like we'll talk about things, but this was like straight out of the back of her brain. So we were going there and she's like, yeah, do you remember last Christmas when Matt was wearing this scary wolf mask and he scared me and I was Incredible Girl? And I was like, last Christmas? I was like, girl, that was last Halloween. But when we went trick-or-treating, we went to their house and Matt answered the door in a wolf mask. And that's never something that like I've brought up since then. It was just something that happened while we were trick-or-treating.
Just traumatized her.
Yeah, but I was like, how the hell do you remember that? And it's just like the little teeny tiny details. Yeah. But yeah, she wasn't even 3 at that point. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, scary. Like, what else do you remember? I don't know.
What do you remember that you're not telling me?
Right? Like, what do you all know in that little brain of yours?
That's weird to think about. It's like that their memories, like they have their own memories, you know, and like they don't speak them all the time. So what do you know in there? What do you got going on?
I would love to know like what goes through their head. Yeah. Like through Zamora's head on a daily basis, because sometimes I'm like, what is going on in there that makes you think that doing this is okay right now? Like, no.
Dude, that's Symphony. Like the other day I opened the bathroom door and she was like rinsing something out and I was like, what is that? And she's like, my slime. And I was like, no, you put slime down the drain and it clogged the drain.
No.
Yeah, I'm still mad about it. Like, I was like, why would you do that?
Do you have Drano or how did you get it out?
It comes apart really easily.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the bathroom sink, so it's just like right there. But it's like, come on, girl.
Yeah. I don't know. I do remember being a kid and just, oh my God, I feel bad for like my mom and some of my relatives that I was just always just a very curious kid and like always getting into shit and like I don't technology wasn't really a thing when I was a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
I was born in 2000 for anyone that doesn't know. So I feel like that was like right when things started to get bigger. I remember my grandma when I was little having a little flip phone with a little antenna. Bring those back, please.
My dad had one of those.
Yeah, and like everyone still had like house phones, but
I miss house phones. I was actually thinking about getting
I'll call you on your house phone all the time and be like, hey, how's it going? But yeah, I don't know, like I will say like my childhood I spent it outside.
Yeah.
A lot. And I remember at Eric and Sam's house, Charlie's parents, I had a little swing set out there and Eric would always be like, stop digging up the fucking grass. Because I would have my little like sand toys and I'd be making like mud pies and like putting leaves in it.
Yeah.
And then they would
grass,
like,
everything.
then they would start like decomposing and it would all smell like shit and there's like a giant hole underneath this swing set. Eric's like, can you stop digging it up? But oh my gosh, just always being like so like crafty and creative. I remember one time too, I was at my grandma's house and I was baking and I had like a little kitchen set and then it was probably like a week after I left and she's like, Darian, did you make something in your oven and not take it out?
Like a little easy bake oven?
It was like just like a little Tykes oven, but like I was cooking it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know why. And she's like, because I opened it and there was like maggots in it. And I was like, the way I would be livid if I found something like that in Samara's kitchen. I will say too, I make it a point to like open up that oven,
because
open
of
up
that?
her little kitchen things, yes, and like make sure like, all right, what do you have in here?
You traumatized yourself.
I remember though what I had in my grandma's little oven, and it consisted of, I want to say, flour, sugar, peanuts, and rainbow sprinkles, and I made some kind of concoction. I don't know why. I have a very good memory too, I will say, and it's like a photographic memory. Okay. I remember like the smallest little details about things. Asking about school though, I don't know. Ask me a math equation. Good luck. Good luck getting an answer.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's all I took away from math class.
But yeah, I don't know. I was a little shithead as a kid. Did you do stuff like that?
We did like the mud pies and stuff like that, and my grandparents had like a dirt driveway. Okay. And so like there was like all this broken cement in it, and my sister and I used to go out there with like paintbrushes and like pretend we were finding dinosaurs.
Ooh. Little paleontologist.
Yeah. And I remember there was one time we were riding our bikes down this dirt road and one of the dogs got loose. We had like a bunch of wiener dogs. Okay. And one of the dogs got loose. And I like ditched my bike and I'm like running and I like get close enough to where I can grab her. So I like bend down to like pick her up. Well, I trip on a fucking rock and I fall with her and I like tumble. Dude, I still have a scar on my elbow from it. Like it was so deep. Like I couldn't even move my arm. It hurt so bad. But I got the dog back.
There you go. All for the puppy.
Yep.
Were you like the kind of kid where if you got hurt you were embarrassed to tell someone?
No, I don't think so.
I remember I was at Aaron and Matt's house. And I think Aaron was watching me. And I had to go, her mom lived like 2 houses down. Okay. Or no, Matt's mom lives like 2 houses down, and I think I had to go get like sugar or something. We were like making cookies, and
I'm
like
such a Midwestern thing.
Like go to the neighbor's house. I'm sure they got a stick of butter. I'm like running back with this cup of sugar, and I'm wearing Crocs, and I must have had those bitches in sport mode because I was zooming, and all of a sudden I trip over the like crack in the sidewalk. And I have, like, a bloody, busted open knee. But, like, for some reason, I was embarrassed to tell Erin. Like, I don't know if I was, like, I don't want to tell her I tripped. Like, how embarrassing.
What happened to the sugar?
It must have been in a bag.
Oh.
Because I know I brought it back. But then Erin was like, oh, my gosh, what happened to your knee? And I was like, oh, it happened, like, a couple days ago.
Like, it's, like, actively bleeding?
Like, I don't know why I was like that. I don't know.
I remember one time, this is super embarrassing. I remember one time I had this, like, going back to, like, your grandma's oven thing, the food that you left in there. I had this, like, jewelry box.
Okay.
And I don't know how old I was, probably, like, 8 or something. But we weren't allowed to have, like, snacks after, like, a certain point in time,
Okay.
you know? So...
Not if you got a little snack box.
So, and it was, like, a big one. It was, like...
Okay.
It was like a square. It was a big one, and it like opened up, and there were like all these different compartments. I filled that bitch up with cheese balls.
Oh no!
And then I went to go eat them like a couple days later. They were all stale and shit. I was so pissed. And then that thing never stopped smelling like cheese balls.
I was gonna say, I feel like every like a jewelry box or like I don't know what you call it because I know what you're talking about, where it's like a little like thing that like opens up. They all have felt in it.
Yeah, it did.
So was it stained with cheese? You know, I'm thinking of like the little crumbs.
Yeah,
and, like, how
I would no, it wasn't like stained or anything,
Okay.
but the smell definitely lingered for
Ew.
forever. It
You're wearing
just
a necklace.
always smelled
people are
like
like,
cheese
why does
balls.
she cheese?
It's
smell
my
like
cheese ball scent. I still love cheese balls. My friend Danielle knows.
They're yummy.
It was like a running joke. She always sends me like cheese ball things because like I brought a whole container of them to work one day, like one of those big ones.
Yeah.
And I was just like snacking on them the whole entire shift.
I like cheese balls, but what I like more is like Cheeto Puffs because they're like a little bit softer.
Yeah.
And the white cheddar ones too. So yummy.
I don't know why I do this, but like whenever I eat the Cheetos Puffs, I just like
Yeah, they're fun. Make it exciting. It's the little things in life that bring you joy, like eating cheese puffs.
I fucking love cheese balls. What was I gonna say now?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of when I was little now. I'm like going back in my head on stories of when I ate shit. Okay, this one's a good one. Okay, so I wanted an electric Razor scooter.
Yeah.
I don't know where I saw one or who had one, what like triggered me to be like, I need this now. And so I saved up all my Christmas money and I went to Toys R Us.
Toys R Us.
They had the playground in there. Do you remember that?
No.
The one on, what is that? Mason Street?
Yeah, it's a gym now.
Yeah. They had a playground in there. My dad lived right behind there. And there was like a big cement wall and he'd like push me up it and then climb up and we'd go play there. It's like the only thing.
I miss Toys R Us. Toys R Us and Kids R Us. Those need to
Kids
come back.
R Us?
Yeah, it was a clothing store.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know about Babies R Us.
Yeah, there was Babies R Us and Kids
Hmm.
R Us. My mom used to shop at Kids R Us all the time.
I do not remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool in there.
Interesting. Okay, but so I saved up all my money. My mom brought me there. I got my little Razor scooter. I remember I wanted a pink one, but they only had red, so I was like, ugh, I guess I'll settle for this. Let me just say, I thought I was that bitch cruising around on this thing. I like cruised it to school like, like, look at me, better watch out, this bitch is electric. But so one time I was leaving Eric and Sam's house, and I lived probably like maybe like a mile away from there, but I would now we're back. Okay, so I was leaving Eric and Sam's house, and they had this alley. This alley was very beat up, mind you. Like, it was not a smooth alley, to say the least. So I'm cruising. I don't know how fast those scooters go, but it felt like I was flying. And I hit a little pothole. Tell me why I literally did like a front flip. This scooter is like flying through the air. And I land on the ground, and like both of my knees were like busted to shit. I swear when I was little, like my knees were always messed up. I have so many scars on them. There's like gravel in my knees.
Still?
Yeah, and so
What?
No, not still.
Oh,
but like
I was like,
at the
damn.
time. No, like at the time, like I stood up and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like blood is just pouring down my legs. So at this point, I'm not even like a block away from Eric and Sam's house. Oh, did it stop again?
Yeah, you keep
Okay.
going though.
I'm not even like a block away. I'm literally just down the alley. And instead of turning around and going back, I decide to cruise all the way home with blood just spewing from my knees. Yeah, Eric was like, "What the fuck, Darian? Like, why didn't you just turn around and come back. But I was embarrassed for some reason, and I was like, I just want my mom. Like,
Aww.
so I got home, and then my mom was doing laundry in the basement, and so she wasn't upstairs for like probably like 10 minutes, and I'm just like sitting on the couch crying hysterically, and she came up and she's like, what is wrong? So yeah, Zamora will not be getting an electric scooter, I can say that. Nor cruising around with it by herself. All right, well, Rachel's storage is, did you get it?
I don't know.
Was the back of your phone cracked before?
Yeah.
Okay. That was scary.
It's more doing something here, so. But I have to leave.
She has to go to work.
Yeah, my phone's not working.
She said, no more storage for you.
My phone's like, go to work, bitch. But, yeah, I guess you can do the outro.
Thanks everyone for listening. Do you want to say a little thing?
You can say it.
I'm nervous. I don't.
Oh, you want me to come join you?
Yeah, come join me.
So many words.
All right, you guys. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks for listening. Remember to check on your friends. Mental health matters. We're all here for each other, and we love you.
Bye.